So what do you talk about?
Just like my favorite athletes, careers, and just like uh, what life was like in their sport.
No shit. So
I swear.
you didn't invite me on. That's a bunch of bullshit.
No, that's. I got my questions right here. That's what it's for. I got a bunch of questions right here.
So are we actually doing the YouTube right now?
Well, not live, but yeah. I mean, if it's all right, I'd like to ask some questions for a video.
Got some questions? All right, go ahead, man. Damn, you gotta tell me things.
I thought Tony told you.
I didn't know you.
I think we got 2 minutes left on the Zoom call.
I got a YouTube channel, so I'm like, oh, okay, yeah. Go ahead, shoot, man. Shoot the questions.
All right, awesome. Between your 86-87 season at Oklahoma and 87-88 season, your scoring point differential increased by 15.3 points. What led to the increase in points?
Shoot, more playing time. and they passed me the ball more.
Well, the efficiency stayed the same, so there had to be something else with that too. Because
I would just say basically, like I got stronger. Okay. I got and I was hungrier because I was my first year I was a sixth man on a team that went to the Sweet 16, and then I was partying too much and got caught up in the success, and then I found myself sitting out the semester, and then so my parents were upset with me, my coach was upset with me. My dad threatened to take me home, and go put me in the Army. And that was enough to scare me to get back on the Dean's honor roll after that. I didn't want to go into the Army. So, and my coach, my sophomore year, I was still the sixth man. I was unhappy with my role. I thought I should be starting. I thought I was better than the guys in front of me. So I got very frustrated, but I kept playing. And whenever I got opportunities, I took the most of them. And then, our coach was always into, I love him to death. He just passed away too, just a couple months ago, Billy Tubbs. I think that, I do know he favored seniors over the young guys, and his attitude was kind of like, well, I got these young guys for 2 more years. I've got these guys now. They're going to graduate. I got to get the most out of them. They got more experience. They've been to an Elite 8. So he rode with them. And that kind of frustrated me and my guys who came in with my class. So my sophomore year going into the tournament, we're playing Pittsburgh, number 5 team in the country.
Wow.
And we benched two or three of our starters because they missed curfew. And so the coach Tubbs put me in the starting lineup, which shocked a lot of people, but they showed he had a lot of confidence in me. I ended up having like 20 points, like 10 rebounds, like 5 blocks, and we upset the number 5 team in the country to get to the Sweet 16. So then the next game we're in Seattle for the to the trip to the Elite 8, and we're playing University of Iowa, BJ Armstrong's Iowa Hawkeye team.
Yeah,
and they were a top ranked team, and so I was all jacked, ready to play. I'm like, I got us to the next round. And my role is going to be bigger. I'll probably be starting. And I went right back to my same role, and they put me down. I probably played 5 minutes in that game, and we lost by like 3 points, and I was so upset on the trip home from Seattle. I was committed to transferring, and so my academic counselor came in, was talking to me, said, "Hey, no, go home, think about it. Don't make a decision off emotions and yada." You know how you're telling a 19-year-old kid that, and I'm like, I don't really want to hear that right now. So then he went back and told Coach Tubbs. Coach Tubbs comes from the back of the plane. I got my headphones on, the big headphones that we use now, which is funny because you think, you smaller headphones now, you got these huge ones. So we had those in the 80s, and they brought them back. Everything comes back in cycles, baby. Everything comes back. So I'm sitting in my seat. I see Coach Tubbs coming out the back of my eye. So I try to act like I'm asleep. So he comes over and he grabs my headphones and he goes, "What are you listening to? Country music?" And I go, "Oh," I'm like, I really don't want to talk to him right now. I'm really mad. So, but then I'm laughing because he said that. So then he pops my headphones back. "You need to listen to country. That rap is terrible." So he says, "Can I sit down?" And I go, "Yeah, you can sit down." And he goes, "Hey, look, I know you're upset. I know you're frustrated. You thought you should have played more. You should have played more. It's my fault. You should have played more. You deserve to play more. But next year is your year. There'll be nobody in front of you. Next year you'll be a starter, and you're gonna have a big year next year. And I'm like, 19 years old. I'm like, dude, I can't rely on that because you told me this before. And he's just saying that to keep me at Oklahoma, because we're losing a lot of players. So it was like, I don't want to lose him. He was a highly ranked, highly recruited kid. I don't want to lose him. And I was just thinking he was just a car salesman, just telling me something just to keep me there.
Yeah.
So, but he told me this line that I remember to this day. He told me, he said, Stacey, he goes, your future's bright. Just make sure you're wearing your sunglasses. And then he left. He left me with that thing right there. And I was just like, what a jerk. It's like, I called him something worse, but I'm like, why would you say something like that? Why would you say something like that? And then I don't even know what you mean when you say that. Like, I'm 19 years old. I can't even think about process what that meant,
Yeah.
And then, so I just kind of let it go. And then I went home and I talked to my parents, and my parents were like, no, you're not transferring. This is the decision you made. You're going there. We didn't want you to go there. You chose to go there. So you're going to stick with it. I don't care if you get drafted. I don't care if you ever play another quarter of basketball. You're going to finish at Oklahoma, get your degree. And that's what's most important. So my parents wouldn't sign the transfer papers, and which infuriated me. I'm like, what kind of parents are you? But they were trying to send a message to me like, you finish what you start.
Yeah.
Be accountable. You made this decision. We tried to tell you not to do it. You made it. You didn't want to listen. So now you have to reap what you sow. You made your bed, now lie in it. And that infuriated me. And I came back the next year. So here's a funny story. So my summer job, they always give you summer jobs. So they go to me, I go to my coach and say, hey, coach, can I get an indoor summer job? Because in Oklahoma, it's hot as hell in the summertime. It's like 110 degrees, So I go to my assistant coach and said, coach, I have my girlfriend with me, which ended up being my wife. I said to my coach, hey, coach, can I get an inside job like at the trophy shop with air conditioning, And so he tells me this. This is what he tells me. He says, are you All-American? I said, no. He said, are you all conference? I said, no. Are you on the Olympic team? I said, no. Are you the all-time leading scorer in Oklahoma? I said, no. So he said, well, you got to work construction. You got to work outside. And I felt about 2 inches tall, man. And my girlfriend, I was so embarrassed at the time. My girlfriend, who ended up being my wife at the time, I was so embarrassed because she was there, So I felt like real little. Because I kept telling her, oh, yeah, they're going to give me an inside job. I'm going to get an air conditioned job, a nice job, and I didn't. I had to work digging ditches at a horse racing track for the summer in 110-degree temperature every day of the week, 5 days a week, 8 to 5. And it was brutal. But every time I was digging ditches, I was like Rocky Balboa. I was thinking about how I was going to, score 20 points. And, I was just thinking about the next year, like to show everybody, that was my motivation, to show everybody that I'm going to be better than what you think I'm going to be. I'm going to be a star, whether you want me to be a star or not, I'm going to be a star. So I worked my butt off and spent every waking moment after work in the gym. I'd play basketball till, sometimes 1, 2 in the morning. I'm in the gym working on my game, in class, drawing up plays, where I'm going to score. How can I score easier? This is where they want me to get the ball, but I think I can score better in this position, and my teammates used to laugh at me because when I'm drawing these plays up, they thought I was like, I forgot the plays. Like they thought I was like, oh, Stacey's dumb. He doesn't know the plays. You got to write them down on a piece of paper. But they didn't know that I was 10 steps ahead of them. I was figuring out the offense on where I could score easier to be more efficient. And it worked out perfectly. I ended up my junior year, like 22, 23 points a game from averaging like 6, 7 points sophomore year and just exploded. And then my senior year, went from 22 points to like 26 points a game. Yeah. So, and that was with a broken finger, index finger, most of the year. Yeah, on my shooting hand. Wow. So yeah, I ended up breaking my finger probably 12 games into the season, and had put 3 screws in it. And I had to play I missed 2 games. I was supposed to miss the whole season until the tournament. But there was no way in the world I was going to miss the season because that was my senior year. And I could just see dollar signs just like the sands of time going through my fingers. So I ended up getting some screws put in. I rehabbed like a mother. I mean, I was in rehab probably more than I was in class. Seriously. Wow. I mean, I was in rehab 6-7 hours a day, every day. We were designing things to put on my hand to keep it from getting hurt. Something that, because you know when you shoot a basketball, your fingertips have to feel it. Yeah. You know, you have to feel the leather, the grooves on the ball. And so, like with my left hand, my shooting hand, I couldn't feel it with my index finger because I had a bandage on it, huge bandage. And I ended up averaging like 32 points a game with a broken finger.
Yeah.
Yeah. Awesome. It was amazing. It was amazing. I was determined not to miss any games. I was determined because the guy, my replacement, this is why I came back so fast. My replacement, he played 2 games and he averaged like 28 points a game in those 2 games. I was like, oh, hell no. I got to get back. Because, see, when you're out and someone's doing that, then they're like, oh, well, we don't need Stacey. No, you need me. I'm coming back. I came back in 2 games, man. I was supposed to miss 12 games and come back at the conference, possibly conference tournament or the NCAA tournament. So I'd have missed like the last 20-something games of the year, and I wasn't about to do that, especially after seeing that dude get off. Oh, man. Heck yeah.
And then what was draft night like for you, and who were you hoping selected you? Because you fell right in between, I think, Indiana and the Celtics.
Draft night was awesome. I mean, it was a dream come true. My mom and dad were there in New York City. You know, the hustle and bustle. It was all overwhelming. You know, it was overwhelming. Yeah. Walking up stage, you know, and your hat on, and you know, shaking the commissioner's hand and talking to Craig Sager, and it was awesome. See, I was supposed to go number 1. I was either going to go number 1 or 6. I wasn't going anywhere in between. Sure. And Sacramento had the number 1 pick, and they had Wayman Tisdale there, who was is the greatest Oklahoma player in my opinion. He was already at Sacramento, and they figured we're both left-handed, we're both the same kind of players, but we really weren't the same kind of players because I could play inside or out. You know, he was strictly outside player, post up. So they decided to go with Purvis Ellison to compliment Wayman. So I ended up slipping from 1 to 6. Doug Collins, when I came here on my visit, Doug Collins said he was going to draft me, and if I was at 6, they were going to get me. And I believed him, and it happened. You know, and then he called me when the draft came. I got to talk to him on the phone, and he was all excited. And I mean, Doug's a friend of mine to this day. I wish I would have been able to play for Doug. You know, because Doug got fired by draft like 2 days after draft night, which is unusual, you know, for a coach that won 50 games. He was turning the program around, and he ended up getting fired 2 days after the draft. And then Phil Jackson came on, and, you know, Phil's first head coaching job other than the CBA. Yeah. And, you know, so it was a little different. Because I didn't know Phil. You know, I didn't know him. You know, I didn't even know that he played for the Knicks in the championships for New York Knicks. You know, but I got to know him when I came up on my visit because we got into a little dust up in the pickup, and not a pickup game. The Bulls brought me up here to work out. You know, to check my speed, jumping ability, all this stuff. And so they said, hey, you know, and since I was a lottery pick, I wasn't expecting any contact because I didn't want to get hurt, blow out a knee playing with somebody. So they clearly understood that I wasn't supposed to have contact. But Doug Collins knew that I was competitive. You know, he knew like I would take the challenge. So when they told me, they said, hey, we're going to bring somebody in here to give you a little resistance, a little bang you a little bit, but nothing hard. You're not going to get hurt. And I was like, well, I don't know. You know, my agent told me not to do it. And then Johnny Bach, the late Johnny Bach, the defensive coordinator of our championship teams, you know, he basically just said, what are you? Are you the P? He called me the P word. And I was like, what? And I'm like, all right, let's go. So they knew I was competitive. So they bring in this guy who I thought was Dave Corzine, scraggly hair, about 6'10", 6'11". I thought Dave Corzine was bigger because we had Harvey Grant on my Oklahoma team, which was Horace Grant's twin brother.
Okay.
So we used to watch a lot of Bulls games on WGN with Harvey because Horace played. So I knew a lot about the Bulls inside the locker room, because of Harvey. So so I didn't know who Phil Jackson was. He looked like Dave Corzine. He had scraggly hair, but I thought Dave was a little bit bigger. So I'm like, all right, whatever, I'll let him, put a little resistance on me. So he comes out there and he's like, he's just a grouchy old dude. So I was like, dang. So I figured Dave Corzine was just mad because you got a young player coming in that may take minutes from him or his position or something. So I thought he was a little grumpy about that. So I was like, okay, I hope this doesn't get out of hand. Like, I hope this dude just puts a little body on me, puts his arms up and holds, just give me a little resistance, but nothing like NBA resistance.
Of course.
So I start making these moves. They throw the ball in there and I they say, okay, I want you to dribble 2 dribbles to the middle and then drop step baseline and go dunk it or lay the ball up. So I'm like, all right, cool. So I go 2 dribbles to the middle and I make a quick spin move to the baseline. As I go up to dunk the ball, he hard fouls me, just knocked me to the floor. And I thought, like I said, now I'm thinking this is Dave Corzine. So I'm like, I look at him, I go, like, dude, what is your problem? Like, I got up, like, what? He's like, I go, what are you doing? It's not supposed to be, this is supposed to be non-contact. Shut up and play. That's what he said. Shut up and play. So I said, oh, okay. So that's how we're going to play it? That's how we're going to play it. I'm like, okay, cool. So all the coaches now are like looking, like they're like kind of, Doug's laughing. So they're like, and I'm sitting there like, I'm saying, so y'all brought this dude in here to like muscle me up. Y'all must not know who you're dealing with because I don't let that happen to me for anybody. So I said, let's run that same play. So they said, okay. So we did the same play, 2 dribbles to the middle, quick spin baseline. So this time, and he was banging me on the spin move. So this time as I spun baseline, I caught him with an elbow in the face. Bow! And then he falls backwards towards the rim. Okay. So then I dunk the ball, boom, and he falls down. And I take the ball and say, you get up. I gave him the B word. You get up, B. And I threw the ball at him. And then he jumped up. Like he came at me. Like he really came at me. We had to be separated. So they break it up. We're cursing each other. And I'm yelling, F you, Corzine. I'll F you up, Corzine. I'm going to beat your ass, Corzine. I'm just cursing, And they're all laughing. Because I thought it was a player. I didn't know. So Jerry goes, hey, Jerry Krause, the late Jerry Krause, one of the greatest GMs of all time. So he says, hey, go to the locker room. Go shower. Go get out of here. You got to go. So I go shower, and the assistant strength coach, who was about 25 at the time, Al Vermeil was the head strength coach. His brother was Dick Vermeil that coached the Eagles. And so his assistant was 25, a little bit older than me. So he's walking me to the locker room. He says, oh, man. He goes, boy, we need guys like you. He goes, man, you're tough. You're a fighter. I go, yeah, man, I don't play that. I was like, yeah, you hit me, I'm going to hit you back. So he's like, oh, man. God, we got to have more guys like you for Detroit. We need that kind of mentality. And I'm like, well, y'all draft me. That's what you're going to get. So he goes, and so the first thing he says, he goes, boy, I was really surprised you went at the coach. And I was like, the coach? He goes, yeah, you don't know who that was? I go, Dave Corzine. And he starts laughing. Just like all the other coaches in the practice were laughing. And I couldn't understand why everybody was laughing. Well, he goes, no, that's not Dave Corzine. That's Phil Jackson. He won championships with the Bulls. And no, stop. He won championships with the Knicks. And now he's an assistant coach. And I'm like, oh. And it's almost like the whole, like my color just left. Like, I'm like, oh, they're not going to draft. They're never draft me now. I messed up. They think I got a bad attitude. I'm uncoachable. I got a quick temper. So I go back to the meeting and took a shower, come back to the meeting. So Jerry's like reprimanded me a little bit. Like, you can't do that. You got to keep your composure. We play the Pistons. They're going to do that, what you just saw out there, and they're going to do it 10 times worse, and you're going to get ejected and hurt your team. And I said, Mr. Krause, I'm just going to tell you right now, I said, if anybody hits me like that, punches me, does anything, I will be ejected. I'm just telling you. I'm gonna hit him back. And then Doug goes, that's what I want right there. Stacey, if you are the 6th pick, we're taking you. We need mentality like this. And I was like, and so, after that, everybody was cool with me. And I was like, and then Field came in, apologized, I shook hands and everything was cool.
That's awesome.
Awesome.
Not too many people know that story. You're getting exclusive, Liam.
Awesome. Thank you. And then when you did get drafted, you received a very warm welcome to the NBA, winning 3 championships in your first 4 years. What was that feeling like?
It was awesome because it was something that was never done here in Chicago by the Bulls. And being part of something special, being the first ones to do it. I liken it to people when they say, oh, what do you think about The Last Dance? I'm like, I was in the first dance. We did it first, so we had Michael in his prime, Scotty was in his prime. We had 2 optimal superstars in their prime, we had good veterans, John Paxson, Bill Cartwright, myself and BJ were young kids. We had the luxury of having good coaches, Hall of Fame coaches. We played with Hall of Fame coaches. And we played with Hall of Fame players, and not too many people say that, and then win at the same time. So it was awesome. Chicago's a sports town, man.
Yes.
I mean, it doesn't matter. I mean, what sport it is, man. We have knowledgeable fans. They love the Bulls at that time. The Bulls were not as big as the Lakers as far as merchandise and stuff, and the Celtics, because those teams were always winning before the Bulls were. But we caught on very quick, man. It was, we were like a worldwide phenomenon. It was like a Halley's Comet. Everybody became Bulls fans during that stretch of time. There were people who were Bulls fans way back when they were with Artis Gilmore and Jerry Sloan, and those, those were the true diehard Bulls fans that were with them when they were the Stags or, whatever they were back then. And they were playing at Angel Gardens and stuff. So those were diehard fans. But we kind of like opened it up for, and a lot of it was Michael, because Michael transcended the game, the Gatorade commercials. He was always on TV, and then he was a phenomenal player. Even before the championship years came, he was a must-see ticket. Even if the Bulls sucked, people wanted to see him. What is he going to do tonight? How many points is he going to score? Well, the Bulls suck. We don't care. We're going to go see Michael Jordan. We don't care. And so that's kind of how Michael built his brand and his reputation. And then once we became winners, then it was a whole new level. It was like 10 levels, because now you're not just watching the greatest player play and lose. You're watching the greatest player now win the big one every year. Yeah. And now that's just much more exciting. So our fan base grew, and it's worldwide. Even now, our merchandise is one of the top selling merchandises in the world as far as NBA.
Okay, yeah, that's definitely true. And then back in the 90s when you were playing, what was the NBA road life like?
Ooh. How old are you? Are you 18? No.
I'm legal. I'm 18. I'm 18.
Oh, man, I might be talking to someone. I'm going to give you PG rated stuff. Let me just say this. We were like a world, like a rock band. Let's just put it that way. If you've seen like U2 and the Beatles and like all these super bands, the Rolling Stones that play in front of like mega crowds, that's how we were. Like,
okay,
we didn't have security. We would check into a hotel. We could fly into Utah at 2:00 in the morning. It'd be 1,500 people outside waiting for us just to get a glimpse of our team. My first year as a rookie, we were in an exhibition game oh God, I'm just sorry about that. Can you still see me?
Yeah.
Oh, I can't see. Oh, wait a minute. Hold on. Oh, Lord. Sorry about that. Oh, okay, I'm back. We were playing in Buffalo, New York, preseason game, and where they hockey up in little venues, not very big, probably about 12,000 fans. It was sold out to the ceiling. And after the game was over, I remember Michael coming in to me and BJ. We were last one because we had a pretty good game. We were being interviewed. So Michael comes in and said, hey, y'all better take a shower and come on. He's like, we got to get out of here. And we're like, you get out of here. We'll be all right. If they don't want us, they want you. He's like, no, you guys, I'm having a police escort out of here. We're not going to be able to get out of here without the police. Now, this is my first look at how big Michael Jordan was and how the experience of being with Michael was. So all of a sudden, like 15 riot gear police officers come with those big clear shields, you know, they put over their heads to like block things from falling. So they come in and go, Mr. Jordan, are you ready to go? They just broke the barrier in 7. And so we're like, what? I'm sitting there half naked. BJ's half naked. He's like, y'all better put your clothes on. So I'm like, oh my God, I'm throwing my clothes on. I'm like half dressed. And so Michael goes, hey, get in here. So the police says, get in between us because we're going to have to go through this crowd. And I'm thinking, man, are they exaggerating? Like, come on now. So we go outside and you hear all these people, we want MJ, we want Michael. And they're screaming. And it's like a rock band. And he's like the lead singer of the rock band. So people break these barricades and just knock the security over and they start coming. It was like they were chasing us. And the people, the like 15 security guards were banging people with the shields. And I mean, just beating them, knocking them down, people flying all over the place and people grabbing, ripping your shirts. And I'm like, oh my God. Like that was the first time I knew how big we really were. Like, I was like, we've had a lady in New York lay down in front of our bus and not let us leave until she came in and met Michael Jordan. She's like, I'm not leaving. You're going to have to run over me and kill me. I'm not leaving until Michael comes and says hello to me and gives me an autograph. And literally feels like, Michael, come give this lady an autograph so we can get the hell out of here. Yeah, it's happened, dude. So traveling, being a Bulls player in the 90s and traveling in the 90s is, dude, it was unbelievable. It was unbelievable.
God, it sounds like
it. Yeah, Liam, you're 18, but I don't know. I need to see a birth certificate. I know you want the X-rated version. I know you do, but I can't give it to you because you're still a child. All right, I need to see a birth certificate. All right. When you turn 21, we'll go out and have a beer, and I'll tell you the full story.
Awesome. Thank you. And then, what are some of your interests outside of sports?
Interest, I play golf, love movies, traveling, basically kicking in with my family, spending time with my family because my job keeps me, basketball kept me, 8 months out of the year. This job, broadcaster, keeps me away from my family. My boys are older now. They're all out the house. I'm an empty nester. So, they're too cool to hang out with their dad now unless it's something unless I'm buying pizza for the UFC fights and drinks or something. Then they want to hang out with me, but they're doing their own thing. They all got good jobs and stuff. So that's awesome. That's the coolest thing for a dad to, see your kid grow up and they're doing something productive with their lives. I know your dad feels the same way. You get ready to go to school and, getting ready to go to college, and that's got to be awesome for him. And when you have a kid, you're going to realize, man, parenting is an awesome job. It's a selfless job. It's a hard job, but at the same time, your parents would do anything for you. Your parents would jump in front of a bullet for you. I mean, if God came down right now and told me, Stacey, your life or your kid's life, I'd be like, let's go. I'm ready. I've done everything I want to do. I want my kids to enjoy life and do things that they want to experience. So, your parents have probably made sacrifices that you don't even know, and that's what parents do. They don't want you to know the sacrifices they made. They keep it to themselves. They just want to make sure you have everything that you need. Everything's going to put you on the right path to be successful. You're not always going to agree with your parents. My boys, we butt heads all the time. But at the end of the day, I always tell my boys this. I said, I'm going to tell you the real story. I'm going to tell you the truth. Your friends ain't going to tell you the truth. Your friends are going to tell you what you want to hear. Your parents, especially your dad, with boys, your dad's going to keep it real with you and tell you the truth. Sometimes you don't want to hear the truth. Like my sons, when they want to be pampered and they want to be babied, they go to their mother. They go to mama. Mommy. I'm like, oh my God. But when they want the real story, they want the truth, they want the real 100%, they come to their dad. I still laugh at that because it's funny because I'm like, oh my God. My ex-wife will call me and go, oh, Eric came over and called me and he said XYZ. I'm like, well, did he say anything to you? I'm like, no, he's not gonna, of course he ain't gonna say that because he already knows the answer. That's why he's not coming over here, so, but it's, I tell you what, man, I always wanted to be a parent. I love being a parent, man. It's the best thing, best job in the world. I love it. I can't wait to be a granddad. I'm spoiling my kids, grandkids to death. And then I want to see my kids raise their kids and have to deal with all the stuff they try to put us through. Yeah, it's gonna come back. Karma's gonna be something then, buddy. Yeah. When your teenage son sneaks out and gets in the car and takes off. Yeah, let's see how you do it. Yeah. So I'm looking for that.
Awesome. And then you're the founder of some very famous catchphrases. How'd you come up with them all? Like how do you come up with them?
You know what? They just pop out. Not something I sit and go, I think I'm gonna say, give me the hot sauce today. I'm too big, too strong, too fast, too good. I'm quick-witted. It kind of derives from a game that I used to play when I was a kid. I really kind of blame my friends for creating this person I am. Awesome. Had they not forced me to step my game up, I probably wouldn't be the way I am. And back then we played a game called the Dozens, where you could, for instance, if me and you were going at each other, I could say something about your clothes, your hair, your ears, whatever fun part of you to get everybody to laugh. That's what I would do. Right. And then you come back and say, "What? Your head's so big." Da, da, da. So we're going back and forth with insults. Okay, fun insults. Nothing try to hurt anybody's feelings. But there'd be some people get their feelings hurt because you get them really good. But there's rules though. You could never talk about one's mother. That's about somebody's mom. That's off limits. You can talk about the dad, the brothers, the sister, but if you talk about somebody's mom, that's off limits. And so then also, Liam, I grew up playing street ball. So street ball, there's a lot of trash talking. There's a lot of jaw jacking out on the court. So a lot of stuff that you hear from me is kind of stuff that I had from, playing street ball, just talking trash, none of my nicknames and stuff that I've given people came from street ball. But it's kind of similar, just talking trash to someone and having fun, it keeps the game fun for the fans, especially when the team is not winning. You got to keep the fans engaged, man. I'm kind of an entertainer. Even though I don't want to be that, I'm an entertainer because, like, if you're watching the Bulls and they're getting beat by 30, okay, your natural instinct, if you're not listening to me or Neil or me or Adam, and you're not having fun, you're going to change the game. You're going to change the channel. You're going to go watch, Wheel of Fortune or something. Whereas if you're listening to Stacey King, you're 95% of the time you're going to watch the game to the end because you want to hear what I have to say. You want to hear something funny. I keep you engaged in the game, and
great job of that.
It just keeps your interest peaked. You know what I'm saying? And, so I've been very lucky to do that. This is my 16th year, so I've been doing something.
Congrats. I was waiting for you to sing.
That's hey, listen, man.
Nationwide.
Did my man a favor one night, and now it's just that took legs on its own. But the guy I sing that for, Jeff Vucevic, Vukovic is a friend of mine. My son played baseball on his team, so I've known him for years. And then so he sponsors us with Nationwide. He's an insurance salesman. So one night they were like, yeah, Nationwide, and I was like, Nationwide is on your side. And then all of a sudden it just took off like freaking. It just took off like a land, like fire, like a forest fire.
Right.
And now I got everybody singing, not fans, but like the White Sox announcers, the Cubs announcers, everybody's doing it now. So I kind of started something. I was the grandfather of that, singing Nationwide. So they get a big kick out of it. But it's so good that he keeps sponsoring it.
Right.
So I'm glad to help them out, and it's a lot of fun. The fans get a kick out of it, especially like the older people. Like, they love it. I can't tell you how many people like grandmas come up to me like, I love it when the Golden Pipes sing. When you sing the Nationwide jingle, I love it. And if I don't sing it, I hear about it. Because some nights I'll do it just to mess with people. Like they'll say, all right, Stacey, give us the jingle. And I'll go, Nationwide is on your side. And then they'll go, well, that sucked. Like, what is that? Why didn't he sing it? Like, what is he doing? I mean, people get mad.
That's
like,
awesome.
People mad. I'll get on my Twitter and people go, Stacey, that sucked. What are you doing? We want to hear the Golden Pipes. I'm like, oh my God. Like, you people are like insane.
You don't know where you started.
I know, man. I can't tell how many times I wish I had a nickel for every time I've been out in the grocery store or out in the public eye. Someone go, Nationwide is on your side. Oh my God. Golden Pipes. I'm like, oh my God. I'm like, man, I'll be eating dinner. I'll be getting ready to put a drumstick in my mouth, and they'll be like, Nationwide is on my side. Can you sing it? I'm like, yeah, I got a chicken wing in my hand right now from it's barbecue sauce. I don't think I really want to sing that right now.
And that leads me into my last question, which was, when you're out in public, what catchphrase do you get asked to do the most?
Give me the hot sauce.
Mm-hmm.
Give me the hot sauce. People love that. Sriracha. They love sriracha. Give me the hot sauce is pretty much a Chicago term now. Like, that's like an everyday word in Chicago now. People just saying just to say it. Give me the hot sauce. I'll be walking across the street. Somebody honk, give me the hot sauce. I'm like, oh Lord. I'm like, oh my God. I'm like, oh my God. I have a mask on. Like I don't even think no one will notice me except for I'm tall. And they'll be like, give me the hot sauce, Stacey. I'm like, oh my God. In the grocery store, aisle 7 has hot sauce. I'm like, okay, this is going too far. This is going too far now.
That's a good one.
It's gone too far. It's gone too far. Or I'll be checking out, and then I'll be paying for my groceries, and then the checker will go, did you forget the hot sauce, Mr. King? I'm like, oh my God. Okay. All right.
Just shop from Amazon now.
I'm thinking it's a little bit too far now. But it's fun for fans, and I as long as they get it, they love it. I have no problem.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
I'm a man of the people, man.
My favorite is the Jimmy G Buckets one. That's my all-time favorite.
Jimmy G Buckets. The G stands for gets. I gave Jimmy that nickname. Jimmy was playing 8 minutes a game as a rookie.
Oh,
no one even knew who he was. Nobody knew. And everybody, people were like, he sucks, cut him up. And so Jimmy came up to me one day and he says, he goes, hey, Stace, you give everybody else a nickname. Can I get a nickname? And I go, you know what, Jimmy? I said, let me think about it. And so I thought about it and I said, you know what? Jimmy, because this is like a mafia type of town, like old school mafia, Al Capone. So I was like, Jimmy G. That sounds like a tough name, Yeah. Jimmy G Buckets. Okay, buckets, because he's gonna get buckets, and G stands for gets. So it kind of flowed. And I was like, so I told him, I said, he goes, you got me a nickname. I said, you'll hear it on TV. So he got in the game and he scored like 8 points. And I was like, Jimmy G buckets. The G stands for get Chicago. And then next thing you know, it took off. Another one, it skyrocketed. And Jimmy's like, oh man, Stacey, that was awesome. Everybody's calling me Jimmy G buckets now. The G stands for get. So he made T-shirts. He works with Nike. Nike designed a line for his Jimmy G buckets. Yeah, so he got paid off of it. I'm like, hey, don't be afraid to give me like 5% of that.
Where's my cut?
I was like, Jimmy, I don't even want 5%. Can I get a T-shirt? Oh man, come on, brother. Give me a Jimmy G T-shirt, man. Dang. No, but it's really cool because like I said, it's fun for the players. You know, I did it for the players, and it just made them even more popular. You know, it gave a guy like Jimmy who wasn't playing, no one knew who he was, an identity. So then when he became a star, that just took him to another level. You know, that nickname kind of was like a life jacket, was keeping him above water. And then all of a sudden he takes off and he becomes a star. And then that nickname takes a life of its own. You know, it doesn't sound good when the Miami Heat people are saying it now. You know, Jimmy G, all the Chicago fans hate it. They hate it when Chicago, my city is like the Watchmen. Like, you know, they watch everything. They're like little like guard dogs. If you say anything that I say, if you say anything that I say, what is this? Hey, what is this? Hold on. Somebody's just trying to call me. So if you say something like another broadcaster says, give me the hot sauce, or says one of my sayings, oh man, the city of Chicago just roast them. Like they are, I mean, listen, it's like doing stuff now, and now there's a camera phone. Back in the day, there was no camera phone. So people didn't know what you were doing. So if you were doing something you weren't supposed to be doing, no one knew that you weren't, because they didn't have no camera phones. Right now, camera phones everywhere. So it's just like, you know, the internet's everywhere. Social media is everywhere. So if you do anything, it's caught on video. So so they catch people using my catchphrases or my nicknames, and they let them know. It's funny. It's really cool to see fans that they take it very seriously. Chicago fans take sports seriously, man.
Oh yeah, they're defensive.
Very defensive. I love it though. I love it.
Yeah, no, of course. That's awesome. Yeah, no, thank you so much for answering all my questions.
Man, I'm glad I helped you out. I'm glad you let me know.
Thank you.